Oh,
I like to feel fresh in my mouth.
no.
I didn't put the lights on.
You can try spin this.
Oh. Wow, somebody just subscribed
Yeah.
and gifted like subs
To who?
to me.
Oh, are you online?
Yeah. Hello, hello. Can we hear each other? Hello, hello. It seems that we can. Oh my god, I sell cabbages. Thank you so much. That's a funny way to log on. Thank you. Thank you for the lovely subs. I hope that those who got them will have lots of fun with them. How are you doing today? So, we're having quite a big day today. I am very, very happy about that. So, you enjoying your time with your fiance. Well, that's good. That's very nice. Let me check what I'm doing here. Hi, Aria. Welcome. I'm just checking if, like, this is my first time doing this, so please bear with me. Episode 1 is always a bit of a hiccuper. Let's put it that way. So I'm just gonna see. Hi, Alina. Welcome, everybody. Just gonna see if everybody is here. Okay, we have one. We have bless you. Oh, bless you. It seems that my child is getting sick. Let's see. How is everybody? Tell me. Can you hear it? She's um she is totally getting sick, unfortunately. Okay. There we go. There we go. I'm hopeful that this will work. Let's see if it's gonna work. Oh, tell me about it. What was it? What was for dinner? I am very curious to know. Okay, let's see if it's gonna work. Dun, 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 dun. Oops. Okay. Well, that is yes. Please do. There we go. Is it gonna work? You can still hear me. I hope.
Yes.
And that's very good. But I can't hear myself.
I've even heard myself saying yes. So.
1 second. There
I'm
we
good.
go.
Hello.
Hi.
Can we hear each other? Yes, we can.
Yay.
I sent you guys invites on Twitch.
Yes. Okay.
So I got Valkyrie
So,
there.
Okay.
oh, okay. Then let me do this.
Is that
Let me
working?
get rid of that.
Okay, we just need to figure out how to
So,
turn the cameras on. That's the only thing.
so what I did was I created another source duplicating my live scene with the gameplay, and I basically just got rid of my camera on there and then turned my camera on the collab. Is what I did.
There we go.
I
Well,
don't-
maybe you need to set up
You did turn
OBS
on?
virtual camera.
Maybe.
We also have an echo somewhere.
Is that us, maybe?
Okay.
Wait.
Hey, Caleb.
I think we have the echo, you know.
Yeah. Then is it coming through here or is it through?
It's
We
coming
need to
through
check if Caleb
this...
is on Discord.
Wait, hold on.
Is it me? Am I the problem?
It's all of us.
Okay, wait. Can you guys hear an echo with our mic?
Check,
I
check.
can't hear an echo.
Okay.
I can hear myself.
Oh,
So yeah, there is an echo.
It might be us.
You can't use it.
what do we do?
I think we.
I don't know why the cameras though aren't working.
Oh. We can
Is
turn
it
off-
me? Am I the?
It's definitely not you. I can't get my own camera to work. Let's see, maybe
Hmm.
Caleb can enlighten us here.
I don't know what to do.
It's virtual setting.
Can we turn
I'm
on-
using Streamlabs. I don't know what you guys are using. Virtual webcam, start. Will that work?
Caleb, join us on Discord
Oh,
so we can
No,
help
no.
us fix this.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Oh, no, it was there.
This one?
Yeah.
Done.
And then we want to switch scenes.
Oh,
Oh,
okay, not that. How do we do that?
I think.
Oh, it's because it's the overlay. There we
Yeah.
go.
Okay.
Oh, how'd you
Does
do
that
that?
Yes.
Yay, you guys made it.
Yes, Kayla.
We need to sort this
Caleb,
echo
you
out.
need to come on Discord.
Can't hear you, Caleb.
Can't hear you, Caleb.
Why is that not working?
Do your headphones?
Yeah.
What did you guys do to get this to work? Like my camera is still like off.
I don't even know. What do we do?
Why is that?
I think we're just doing a virtual camera through OBS.
Yeah.
I am trying that, but it's not working.
Hello, can y'all hear me now?
Yay, Caleb.
Just drag me into the Discord channel.
Why
I
is
don't
that
see
not
which one to go
working?
to. I'm in the gaming one.
I
So
can't hear
whenever you have a
Caleb.
chance though, no worries.
There we go. Now we got you.
Oh, it's because Caleb's not on Discord, that's why.
All right, I'm in now. Hello.
There we go.
Hey.
Hi.
Hello. I'm just still trying to get my camera to work.
So it's very interesting, Mom. If you use something like Firefox on your browser with Twitch, it won't allow me. So I had to switch to Google Chrome to set up my virtual camera. So I don't know
What?
if that's something you want to do.
Oh, come on.
I think.
What?
Caleb is always looking like a tasty little muffin.
Whoa. I've only had 4 hours of sleep because of my
He
grind
was
through the campaign.
super. Yeah, he was super degenning.
No, but the overlay does this.
So I am having issues because I'm not even using my eMeet camera. There we go.
Someone else.
Yay!
Yes, Val.
Yeah.
My solution is I have 2 cameras because I use one for TikTok and one for
Oh.
why?
Just
We're
wanted
trying to
to
sort
zoom
things
in
out.
so bad.
Everyone looks beautiful. Oh my god.
Okay.
I'm sure Ma does as well.
I look like poop, but
Camera
I would
needs
like to show
to
you guys,
chill.
but I don't know how.
The camera needs to chill. Like,
What
what's
did you
going
use, Caleb? You said not Google Chrome, but
No, I use Chrome. I couldn't use Fire. I know I'm old. I use Firefox. Firefox, I can't, for some reason, doesn't allow me to use my webcam
but
virtual
I'm on
settings.
Google
So,
Chrome and it doesn't let me.
oh, really?
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I've never been able to get the virtual
It's
camera to work.
it's a setting. Yeah. I'm trying to think of like the setting that you're supposed to give it permission.
Mm.
I think the three buttons to the top right of the browser. It should
I'm
say
trying
settings,
everything I
and then on the
can.
search, you could probably put virtual camera.
Yeah, I set it to virtual camera and it's still not working though.
Oh no.
So source.
Camera, why
Uh,
are you up in my face?
Yeah. Close up shot.
What is going on here? Oh my god. Sir, this is too much. How do I oh, you know what? I need to go into
I think we have to keep it like this.
I think I need to actually Oh my goodness.
We're just having just us-
The
us-
time of our lives. We're just what?
Well, if this continues for like 5 more
put it
minutes
inside.
and I can't get it done, I'm just gonna be a audio host today.
Oh.
That's fine. Whatever works, we go with the flow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
You can have. She's got gameplay scene, and then it's in there. So maybe we need a scene to put on top of.
Like really funny.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna switch cameras. Wait.
Oh yeah,
Configure.
maybe, and then we.
And you guys will just get the other one. Because the other one doesn't zoom in
change our
like this
layout?
one does.
Oh no, I don't know.
I don't know.
Why is it getting closer?
Unless I do this. Wait.
Well, I tried, it's not working. For some weird reason.
Oh.
So we will have to go without Ma. Well, without looking at Ma.
Right, I think I fixed it. Okay. No, Ma. We
Well,
wanna see your beautiful
unfortunately,
face.
we will just do it like this, and I'll be the audio host of the day. Concentrate on my voice.
Open this.
It's gonna be like that. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna look into it until next time, and then we will go from there because I don't know what's going on. But I can see your lovely faces, which is amazing. Everybody
Hey.
can. So yes, Ma's Table Talk episode 1. Thank you so much, guys, for accepting the invitations. Right, the topic of today is inclusivity, LGBTQ, and World of Warcraft. So I want to welcome all of you to the first Table Talk, and basically tonight is not about DPS or loot or achievements. It's about people. Yeah, about the ones that found safety and courage and sometimes even themselves inside Azeroth. Many of us choose races or classes based of like our own lives or preferences, so that's what we're also going to talk about. And I think that World of Warcraft has always been like more than a game for many people in the LGBTQ community. So I will let you first introduce yourselves, and then I guess we could go like, I have some questions prepared for each of you, so we go from there. So who wants to go first? Let's go with the order that I had on my sheet, which was Caleb.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world right now. This is a wonderful honor for me to be here. My name is Caleb. I go by Caleb the Game Doc. I am a 21 plus year MMORPG veteran in the space. I am a queer man, queer cisgendered man. I have been playing World of Warcraft since the beginning of vanilla. Um, in my work, I am an educator, a school counselor, and I'm an elder millennial, so I have a couple of different experiences just navigating space of inclusivity and identity, especially in the video game industry and spaces where I've done a little bit of research on that, and I hope to continue to. But I'm also here just as someone who loves to listen to everyone's experience and provide feedback. I will be talking today in the I statements, meaning that my experiences are my own. So everyone else has their own experiences, which we should all value and respect. I just want you to let you know from my perspectives, I will be talking from my I statements. But other than that, thank you so much, Ma, for having me and having us and giving us the opportunity to have a discussion.
Oh, thank you. Amazing. Thank you so much. Jojo Gaming TV.
Hi guys.
Hello.
So we're JoJo Gaming TV. We're a real life couple.
With real life problems. That's how
Yeah. But no, we're a couple that plays WoW together. We've been together for about a year and 3 months. 4
Yeah, not
months.
very long.
But we have an interesting dynamic. I have been playing WoW for about 16 years now.
Yeah.
You play.
I started playing to maintain this relationship. So that was one of the key things I needed to satisfy in terms of criteria. So I've been playing since like last June, so not long at all, really. But yeah, both cisgender men, he, him, and yeah, just like vibing, based in London as well. So I think that adds another layer of our experience. I grew up, born and bred in London, so that's my experience. And with Teo,
Yeah, I was born in Italy. I moved to London about 10 years ago now. So been living in the UK for 10 years. And yeah, we have a pretty interesting dynamic, I'd say.
That's a
yeah,
totally cool dynamic, I think. It's so amazing. Thank you so much. Valkyrie.
Hi. Usually my camera quality looks a lot better. I'm not sure what's going on with it today.
The cameras are
Um,
against us today, don't worry.
they really are. They really are. Hi, I'm Beastmaster Valkyrie. I actually have only been playing for 2 years. I started in season 3 of Dragonflight, where I made my very first character, a Beastmaster Hunter, and that's where the name came from. In real life, I'm a licensed high school science teacher. I've been teaching secondary science for about 5 years. And so I've come across a plethora of different scenarios, situations, people, and I've definitely found some pretty awesome community and sense of since I started playing. And so I'm really excited to be a part of this. So thank you for asking me to be here.
Oh, glad to have you. Glad to have you. Well, amazing. I am so glad that all of you made it because I think that diversity is also very important as much as inclusivity is. So, yeah, this mix up is just amazing from NA to EU and, you know, female male ratio and everything. So amazing. I am really looking forward to your answers. Let's just like let's do it. I don't want to base it like on personas, like ask one person a question. I want to rather go with topics, right? So the first topic that I picked was your personal connection to WoW. So let's say Caleb, when did WoW first feel like home to you? Was it did you start playing and you already, you already knew where you're heading in the game and who you are, like, you know what I mean? Like your real identity, does it flow into the persona of your gaming, or did that happen like over time?
Yeah, that's a great question. For me, I've always been someone who likes to heal people, metaphorically and literally. I am a nurturer by nature, so when I started playing MMOs, I wanted to be someone who supported others in the game. So I played a cleric in EverQuest, and that was my first taste of being able to have people rely on me as a personal connection. I love having one-on-one conversations. I love kind of like figuring out um, how to navigate difficult situations with people. So just long in short terms, I always gravitated towards being like a healer, and the cleric was a healer. So moving into World of Warcraft, I already had an established personal connection with a group of friends who we all went to the game together, and I naturally just went to my holy priest. I've been a holy priest main for over 15 years. And now it's weird. You'll never see me on that class ever. But I put my time in, and I think supporting people and kind of seeing myself as someone who's there to kind of support the group as the whole, because I am personally like a top five strengths finder. Um, Connectiveness and collaboration are actually one of my top strengths. So that's something that I love to do in video games. That's why I love raiding, doing dungeons, because it helps. I don't know, it scratches the itch for me.
Yeah, totally amazing. I get it. Let's go with Jojo. Should I ask you questions like for each one of you, or do you want questions like together?
We can do it together. I mean,
Yeah.
our whole channel is basically like our relationship, so
Mm-hmm.
we're happy to
No, no,
to answer.
it's because this is like part of the what Caleb said, that many times we speak on just our own behalfs, so
Hmm.
maybe
Yeah.
your paths in gaming differed.
Hmm.
Was there like a specific moment where you realized that WoW was part of your personal journey?
Well, for me personally, I think because I started when I was about 14, 15, so it was a game that I used as like an escape. I didn't have that many friends in like high school, so I kind of used it as like my little safe space, my little like alter ego persona. And I think that kind of, yeah, since I was a teenager, I think that's what helped me kind of find my identity in my real life.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think just literally from when I started, it kind of like helped me out, and it's made me who I am today, basically. And then I
That's
don't know.
good.
Yeah, I think obviously for me as a recent player, I think it was more getting into the game, but also in a funny way, I don't know if people relate, but World of Warcraft is almost like drag in a way. It's almost
Mm-hmm.
like you can put on this suit, become who you want to be. Like I'm in no world, I'm a night elf female mage. Like I'm the complete polar opposite of that. Do you know what I mean? But there's something just so empowering of being whatever you want to be. And again, like Teo said, it's that escapism from real life because, like, let's face it, like the real world can be quite scary sometimes and a bit dark. But you can strut into Donegal in your little mog and like live your best life. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
totally.
I think discovering it as an adult adds like this new layer of, okay, this is an escapism, almost like, yeah, just putting on a new skin, vibing, and
Yeah.
then having a good time.
Totally, yeah. Did you start WoW because you wanted it to become more than just a game, or did that kind of your real life flow into the game?
Um, I don't know. For me, I was just so invested into it, and I think I'm that kind of person that like I get fixated on something. So at the time, I was like a teenager, so I didn't really have much going on for myself. Also, like being in the closet, being kind of like scared to really um, shine as who you really are. I think I
Mm-hmm.
found comfort in WoW and just like being in this fantasy world where everything is all kind of like make believe. Um, so I don't know. I think it was just literally the whole process kind of made me. I've been kind of like hooked to the game. I've played like on and off, but I've been hooked to the game since I started, since a teenager, basically.
Yeah, makes sense. Valkyrie, I like followed you immediately when I saw you for the first time because your name alone, carries strength and power. It's like Beastmaster and Valkyrie. So, but who are you behind the character? Because like how much of your real identity flows into that persona that you made in game?
Um, I don't know because I don't really have anyone who really pulled me in per se, nor do I have any nostalgia from my childhood from it. When I found World of Warcraft, it was a really heavy, heavy time in my life. Um, uh, and I won't get into it, but it did involve caring for someone who was struggling and losing to addiction. And so World of Warcraft became my, like you said, the escape. It became kind of this world that you could make your own. You could make your character your own. You could be whoever you wanted. And it allowed me to really disconnect in a way that helped me persevere. And then, of course, it was through World of Warcraft, I met another wonderful streamer, Sperry Streams. And this was before either one of us, um, you know, were streaming to begin with. We've been in the same guild together for, 2 years, and we've continued to raid together. So World of Warcraft really became, I think, the source of my strength, if anything, because it was something that I had to, really look forward to, especially on days that were super hard. And it allowed me to be around people that helped me stay positive and resilient. And Beastmaster definitely, especially, was kind of like a ode to my real life. For context, I've actually raised orphaned baby opossums. Like I love
Aw.
animals so much. Like I I love animals, and it allowed me to kind of like my dream job is to be like the next Steve Irwin minus the gator wrestling. So like I don't the fact that I could be this character and be able to tame these beasts and make an impact on Azeroth, and it felt for a while like it was the only place that I had control over the the remainder of my life.
Mm.
And so World of Warcraft really became kind of that anchor for me. And then it has been, especially with my divorce, with this move, with these life changes, with this entire season of my life. That's definitely been kind of the thing that's held me, steady. And I honestly owe a lot to the WoW community, to be honest. If I'm going to be honest, yeah.
Amazing. Well, you already said it quite nicely. I wanted to also talk about identity and visibility, basically. Caleb, you bless you, my child. Those are some major sneezes. Caleb, you've been seen as an icon, right, in the LGBTQ WoW community. Oh yeah, you can make all those faces and stank faces you want, but it is the truth. Knowing that, like now that I'm saying it, does that feel empowering or heavy or both?
It feels. I honestly, I've never thought of myself as an icon, and I'm truly and generally would say that. Um,
There, the chat is speaking, right? Just look at the
yeah,
chat. I'm
I
not speaking this out of, like.
yeah, no, it's interesting because I'm processing now being here. Like I'm a big believer in manifestation and um being intentional with words. And I mean, I'm a silly goose. I'm always joking, but I think there is power in intention and manifestation. And a little backstory: I do come from a long line of brujeria, which is kind of like a it's not like so for say like a magic like a real life magic. It's more so like intentional things. We'll light candles, we'll put certain oils and herbs on a candle, light it, and you manifest. And this is something that um I I this is so weird for me to talk about. I can't. No, I don't. I feel like there is a responsibility though. The one thing when I first came into the space is I wanted to do a whole bunch of journal articles. I want to do a whole bunch of research and things of that nature. And I quickly learned that a lot of people do not want to hear the stuff that you want to say a lot of the times. So in I had to pivot a little bit with messages and things of that nature. It's kind of like making your message or making things palatable for like the masses. And I navigate that often. So when I first came on the scene, it wasn't like, oh, boom, busted out. I'm a gay man, right? And these are my points of view, and this is what I like to do, and this is what I believe in, right? I always believe in taking the middle path in reaching and connecting with people. And a lot of times, what people don't know, they fear. So I wanted to appeal to a wider audience of folks, and I took that path. And then as you start to make connections, people get to know you, and they realize, oh, this person does this or this person's into that. And I believe, I always say this, especially with students, you have to connect in order to correct. So I always take that as sort of like my navigating compass when I'm presenting messages out there. Like I want to connect with the audience. Right now I'm having a really hard time connecting with the WoW Classic audience. For some reason they hate the feminine energy apparently that's coming into the spaces.
It's like
And
PvP almost.
absolutely. And it's really interesting time, especially now, and having this sort of conversation with you all, because I'm trying to come from a space of love and understanding, and also from the middle path, as I say. But then I keep on getting tested with these comments, and they're like, sometimes I just want to side eye them, block and ban, and move on. But I'm not a believer in an echo chamber. I actually like engaging people and having conversations, sometimes difficult conversations with people that might not see eye to me. I don't know if that answered the question. I don't.
No.
I feel like yes, there is responsibility, but no at the same time, because I haven't considered myself that in the space. So I hope that answered it. And I'm sorry for a long question or
It's
answer.
okay. No, no, no. Very good. Thank you so much. Um, okay. I have actually two questions for Jojo now, and they're basically for one of each of you. So you can pick which question you want to answer. Um, as one half of a visible couple, right, in gaming, have you ever felt pressure to represent more than just yourself? Does that make sense, the question? Do you know what I mean?
Um,
Like
in
if
in what
you are
way? Sorry.
you are Jojo Gaming TV, yes? So we see
Yeah.
you mostly as a couple all the time. Did you ever feel like you needed to, especially to the LGBTQ community, which you kind of, have the biggest appeal to, did you ever felt that you needed to just be the couple and kind of lost a bit of your own persona in that whole process?
For me personally, sometimes, I mean, I think we're quite strong characters, so we kind of hold our own if it is just like, say, like, also sometimes we'll have our solo moments if one person has to go to the bathroom, and we always joke about it, like, oh, it's so weird just being one of us.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
totally.
I think I think we love being like we see each other as like a power couple, so um I feel like I don't feel like I lose myself, but I find strength in knowing that we are together, if that makes sense.
Yes, amazing.
Um,
Totally.
yeah, I don't know. I have my moments, of course, but I like in the
Okay,
bigger
so
picture,
luckily no Beyonce and Destiny's Child moments. You know what I mean? Like I'm amazing by myself, but I also love my group. Like that's basically it. So have you ever hesitated to be openly visible, like in game or on stream? Was there ever any point of hesitation where you were like, no, I'd rather, not like show that I'm openly LGBTQ, queer, whatever it is?
I really don't think so. I think the added layer of streaming as a couple really helps. I think what is interesting is we bring intersectionality as well, right? We all have our own lens that we look through when it comes to a spectrum of queerness. So that adds a layer. And I think when it comes to like in game, I think because like you can just do anything you want. There's not I it's almost like a safety blanket. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can say you're openly queer in game or on stream, but no one's gonna like harm you, if that makes sense. I don't know. It doesn't feel as scary as like the real world where you have to kind of scope or you have to do a little bit of identification. Like, okay, I see a rainbow pin there. I see
Yeah, yeah.
like a, you know what I mean? You try and look for identifiers. Whereas in game, and also I feel like when it comes to in-game things or World of Warcraft in general or just gaming altogether, unfortunately, I think queerness is still used as an insult. You know, it would be like, "Oh, your damage was so gay," or like, "You're such a F slur," whatever it is. So it's almost become like I don't know the impact, as sad as it is, but do you know what I mean? It's become muted in a way
Mm-hmm.
whereby now, obviously, there's people in game who are still a bit mouthy, like Caleb said, like the classic comments, like there's a lot of those. Um, but I don't have a problem biting back anymore. I
yeah.
think we were part of a guild before which had gay in the title in the EU. It was like quite a big one. And I was like, go for it. Like try and test me. Like I'm here. Do you know what I mean? I think there's I think I come from a standpoint now where like I fight my corner as opposed to retracting under pressure. But
Mm.
again, that's everyone's experience and I have some privilege in who I am as well.
Yeah, well, it is definitely an amazing thing. I mean, I am born in Serbia, and which is very anti-LGBTQ, still
Mhm.
up to this day. But I live fortunately in Vienna, which I mean has Conchita Wurst, right? So, literally, we're very, very liberal and open, and nobody ever has any issues. Luckily, stating that they're whatever type of queer or trans or whatever. So I feel really blessed to be here because of that reason. So I don't have to look at pins, and like try to
Mhm.
navigate this. Which leads me to Valkyrie, because did you ever explore like parts of your identity in this way, or do you know, like, do you have anybody close by that does it, or maybe some of your students?
So I actually grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area. And so like one of the capitals of pride. And so it was just a normal thing growing up. It wasn't really looked at as different per se. It was just another member of society. I grew up, my mom's uncle's gay. He has been in a same-sex marriage for, well, marriage now, but relationship for over 30 years. We have LGBT throughout our family, and it was something that I really, um, I'm a bisexual person, and when I was growing up, the only thing that I really struggled with was coming out because throughout the 90s and early 2000s, there tended to be a lot of biphobia within the community, even. And so it wasn't really something that I um, was brave enough to really talk about or explore until I was older. And then
Mm-hmm.
when I came out to my mother actually came back out to me, told me that she had a girlfriend before she married my dad. So like,
Yeah, but this is
I was like,
something that
oh,
very frequently happens actually with girls, and it
yes.
is still unfortunately very Like not
Yeah,
normal, but it is more nicer
it's
welcomed, you
fetishized.
know,
It's
when a
highly.
female comes and says, "Hey, I'm bi," for example, rather than when a boy does it.
Hmm.
It's like
And
still
it's
unfortunately like that.
highly fetishized. It's highly misconstrued that I'm open to multiple people in our relationship. It's something that, we still face a lot of stigma with, I think, or a lot of misconceptions, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
misunderstandings. And it is something that, I still kind of struggle with, but I've learned to become more accepting of myself. And um, exactly. It is a huge misconception. Like, yes, I like men and I like women. That does not mean that I want to be with more than one person at one time. And that's not to put down anybody who does do polyamory. It's just not necessarily mutually synonymous. And I think a lot of people misunderstand that. But also, as a teacher, I uh, have that experience as a mentor position, not necessarily guiding them through their sexuality, because that's personally none of my business, but creating environments where those students can feel welcome and accepted, and then they're not judged, especially teaching in a place like North Carolina, where I was in a very, very, very conservative county, where the county actually passed a policy that stated that if a student were to ask me to call them by a name that was not recorded on the roster, that I had to notify parents immediately, which was just something I was not comfortable doing. And it I've had personal lived experience, and I've had experience as a teacher from the outside looking in. How inclusivity affects not just people in the LGBTQ in general, but um, as a teacher looking at teenagers who are trying uh, like find themselves in a very already confusing, stressful time as it is. Uh, I think that uh, as a teacher, I had a really big responsibility to create an environment where the last thing that they had to worry about was whether they were going to be judged on whether they had a same-sex relationship or not. Um, and so yeah, I've had a lot of experiences. Um, but like I said, I grew up in an area that it was never looked at as different per se. It was never looked at with a negative connotation where I grew up. I didn't hear um, really slurs until I was in high school, and that's when, kids were being stupid. Um, and then when I got to the southeast region of the United States, that's where I really started to hear things that I would never say out loud ever. So it was definitely a culture shock coming to North Carolina, to Georgia, Texas. Big, big, big
Can't
eye
imagine.
openers as to how people really felt.
Well, this is amazing that you said that, because this is the next topic I wanted to actually ask you, which is way more WoW related. Actually, it's the community and the representation. Caleb, how have you seen inclusivity evolve in WoW over the years, since you've been playing for quite some time and wrote a dissertation about something very interesting?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I was playing I was playing MMOs, right, 20 plus years, and it was, I think, just queerness in general in media was starting to become more prominent. I don't know if you folks remember the TV show The Real World on MTV, right? Pedro had just came out with the big announcement that he was battling AIDS. Um, and I hate to always bring people's illness and sickness, but this is kind of like me growing up, right? I'm a late '80s baby, and as I was growing up, the only thing I heard about it, I'm a New York City kid, right? Um, the AIDS epidemic was like the only thing that was like being discussed in my community as a kid. I would hear my best friend, my dad's best friend, Adonis, Restwell King, was a gay man who was living in the late '80s, early '90s with AIDS, and it was it was sort of a fear that um, if you were from this community, you were going to be sick and you were condemned and you were doomed. And I quickly saw that narrative kind of shift just in my personal perspective in media and stuff. I'm trying to think of like um, and I'm going back to pop culture because TV shows like MTV were some of the first people to have like same-sex dating on dating shows, right? Um, and it started to become a little more the awareness of that people who were in the LGBT plus QAI community were not just a statistic of sickness or doom or things like that, and you started to see that the community really. I mean, we've been here since the beginning of time. Let's be real, right? Since the times of civilization, it's just been how humanity has seen that lens of it. So like navigating that and paralleling that through gaming, like the JoJo's talked about earlier, right? Everything was negative connotation with it. Oh, that's so gay, that's so this, right? Even you hear you play like a girl with the sexism and things like that. You throw like a girl, right? So has it morphed much? It has. There has been lots of strides, but I feel recently it's been we've been backsliding a bit, but that's just the history of mankind when two opposing philosophies of acceptance and inclusivity, especially like in a game like World of Warcraft, meet because you have people wanting to relive the good old boys days. You know what I mean? Of Zug Zug and Warcraft. I have so many people in my comments say woke craft and things of that nature. Which, by the way, I'm so that aggravates me to no end. And this is just me personally, right? Because my community of queer people, black and brown queer people have been saying woke since like the early '90s. And a group of people take this and adopt it to use it as a negative thing, and it just pisses me off because they have no idea what it means.
Exactly,
So
that's the
anyway,
point.
yeah, exactly. Long story short, I do see that there's changes. Like we have our communities, right? We have creative energies. The housing World of Warcraft has been a big boon in terms of creativity, and just naturally, I think, and I'm not making a general statement, but naturally, I think queer people do have an affinity towards art and creativity and things of that nature. Often have been revered as muses in history, right? There's
Mm-hmm.
always that sort of I guess, vibration that our community and folks have always been akin to, like a natural affinity. So I think that has brought more people into the game, right? You think of the game like The Sims and things of that nature, right? You even it's funny enough, like what's the horror game, Dead by Daylight or whatever like that. It's like a queer icon sort of video game because there's a natural affinity towards horror, towards the community, and things of that nature. So I think now that WoW is going through a transformation of just doing PvP, PvE, which we've been a part of since the beginning, like I said, but it's just the lens has been focused a little bit more, and now the opposing philosophies of humanity are kind of, now we're just like really digging deep into this, and this is where we get all these comments of folks saying, well, the game's gone too left or the game's gone too soft, right? Well, we're
Okay, so
always
so basically there is like some evolution, but it's always like 3 steps forward, 2 steps back.
Yeah, it's at least in my opinion, it's always an opposing force and it's always sort of like a fight. That's always gonna be there, right? So I think it's our job to be comfortable in our convictions. And you know what? Folks are gonna be comfortable in theirs and they're gonna pop off and say what they say. But I long story short, yes, I do think that we move forward, but we also move back. But we have to continue on with the conversation dialogue and to fight for our spaces.
Thank you. Lovely. um, I'm just always thinking how to call you guys. I'm gonna call you the JoJos because I don't know how else to call you. Like, it's like JoJos.
Perfect.
Two questions again. You can pick. A first question is how important is visible representation in characters and storytelling? Like, what? How do you think how important it is for the LGBTQ community? And the second question would be, do you think that that representation actually impacts maybe some real life confidence of some people?
Yeah, I'm happy to take that. I think representation is extremely important. I think being a South Asian queer man, I haven't seen that in media growing up. Do you know what I mean? There wasn't an Indian, a Sri Lankan, a Pakistani person who was queer and it was unapologetic. It was always very framed as something to hide from or something you'll be punished from your family by, things like that. So I think for me personally, my view is it's extremely important. I would love in World of Warcraft if there was some sort of race that had like South Asian undertones or South Asian energy, because that just adds that layer of belonging and adds that just yeah, just makes you feel seen. And I think it's so important to feel seen in
Well,
media, especially
the only
media.
sorry, but the only thing that pops to mind immediately is the humans, which you can make to look kind of Asian at this very point.
Yeah, yeah, I guess you can through like skin tone, but when it even comes to like decoration or backstory,
Yeah,
or
of course.
even if it was, some sort of race that was maybe influenced by like South Asian mythic tales or things like that, like I
Mm-hmm.
think those little nuances add such importance to identification when it comes to people.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so for me, I think it is important. I think 100% like that would make me, I don't know, I'd feel excited and belonging and feel
I feel I
identified.
feel like people also have a certain connection to their characters,
Mm-hmm.
and I think yeah, it's just a video game, but it almost becomes like a part of you, a part of your personality. You kind of see your character in your own like video game character. So I think like we always joke about it, it'd be great to have more like customization options, like a bit like even like body shapes and sizes.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it can be quite limited if you think about it, because people do kind of really link to that, and people really do find a connection to their character, and I think it kind of like brings that confidence as well.
Don't
So
get
yeah,
me started on that because as a Kultiran, I literally like I have 5 faces and 6 hairdos to pick out of, right? So
yeah, that's
it's
the thing.
really stupid, even though like the whole other part, including the Kim Kardashian booty, looks totally like me, but it's just like I want short hair. I want, like fuller lips or
Yeah,
thinner
Mm,
lips. It's just really frustrating at times.
yeah.
mhm.
Yes. Thank you so much. That's definitely a lovely answer to that. Valkyrie, um what would you say would like a truly inclusive guild or community look like to you? Because, on your handle you have that you are basically an LGBTQ supporter. So how would that look like for you?
If you don't mind, I'm actually gonna, and I am so sorry to everybody viewing. I don't know what's going on with my internet. I've been messing with my camera this entire time. And I think my internet's just buffering and because my camera looks good here, but anytime I'm watching anybody else's stream, it's just blurry. So I'm sorry, you guys are gonna hear a blob talking. Um, I guess the only way that I can really apply it is how I would, I guess, ask myself, what would it look like in the classroom, right? So I think sometimes when we think about inclusivity, we're thinking about how do I make this person feel welcome, which is great. Yes. Something that I've noticed other and I can only speak from an educator standpoint. Something I've noticed that other educators tend to do while possessing the best intentions is by creating so much of a spotlight on that difference, quote unquote difference, in this case being a member of the LGBTQ, um, is we create so much of a spotlight on it that we continuously remind them how society does see them differently, if that makes sense. So
It does.
consistently pointing out, like making to the connection, like it would be like if Teo, NT, and Caleb and I went with me to go meet several friends at different houses. And every time I brought them in, I'd be like, these are my friends, they're gay. And that's the first thing that I mention about them. Now you're reminding these students now, and again, these are three very secure men who have no problem telling somebody off about making them feel uncomfortable for how they are. But now you have to place that on a teenage boy or girl who is exploring this identity about them, and they might not have as much of a resiliency. They might not have as much security in themselves. And so I think inclusivity isn't necessarily pointing out the differences among us. I think it's just creating a community that, despite that they're different, they feel that they belong. Um, and that comes from representation. That comes from consistency is the big one. Consistency is such the big people, especially kids. And I learned this in the classroom so fast. Kids are so smart and they are so insightful and they are observant and they are sponges. And if you treat that child different than that child, they will clock it so quickly. They might not do it out loud and they might not do it verbally, but they will do it mentally and they'll keep track. They keep a tally. They know that you don't like this kid, but you definitely have this kid as a favorite. And you know this kid gets sent on jobs and you know this kid gets maybe a couple more points on this assignment. I think the biggest mistake that we make is consistently pointing to the differences, instead of just focusing on how do we make them feel welcome. And I think the biggest thing is you don't have to take a flashlight and shine it on every single gay member that you have in your guild. You don't have to take, and I think that applies to any situation where a person is Hispanic or Latino, or a person is African American, if a person is Southeast Asian, if a person is Polynesian, it doesn't matter. Do they belong? Do you treat them the same as you do every single other person in your guild? That's what I think inclusivity looks like, where you make it so that they don't feel different when they come here. They feel like they're one of the community, regardless of how their differences may be represented. And with that, representation is so important because we have no problem. Like, I'll even take myself, for example. I am a white looking Hispanic female with dark hair and pale skin. It is so easy to find a character in World of Warcraft that looks like me.
Yeah.
Okay. So then when we look at how do we treat everyone else the same, let's take somebody who looks like Inti. Inti is dark skin. The closest character that I can think of that looks even remotely similar might be Rathian.
Yes,
Might be
definitely.
one person in the entire game in how many expansions, and that's the only one that I can think of that might look like him. And so when we're representation is so important when it comes to inclusivity, because again, it's creating a situation where everyone feels like they absolutely belong there. Once you create a scenario where someone starts questioning where, okay, am am I the odd one out? Am I the problem? That's where we start losing it. And so I think that's a big thing that guild leaders really need to think about. Do you treat all of your members the absolute same? Because when you lose that consistency, you lose that inclusivity.
Well, that leads me to a question to all of you, actually, which is, as a content creator and as a streamer, what responsibility do you have in shaping like safe spaces? What do you see as your responsibility in it? Who wants to go first?
You guys have been doing this longer than I'm still learning.
I'll start. So the responsibility of shaping safe space, I think first and foremost, I believe we will all agree to this, that everyone deserves respect and space and um everything that comes with just being a good human being, right? Um I was very careful, and this is just from my experience. I was very careful to come out very strong in my space, but I did want it to be identified instantly. Let me explain that. So I didn't want to come out and introduce myself and make a space for people and be like, cat, 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 come on, ow, kiki with me, come do this, that, because that is only just a portion of who we are as people, right? We have so many intersectional identities and things of that nature. Um, I have friends from all over the spectrum of just whatever society is, right? And people, I always get into these conversations with my friends. It's like, why are you friends with that person? Because they believe in this, that, and the third. And I say, because I am also too a person that isn't right on everything and I don't know everything. So I love to really have real genuine connections with people that are really good people, but we may not see eye to eye. So I do have to be careful with my community, especially. It's such a mix of people, and I think what ties my community together is that we all have a mutual respect for each other, even though we might not necessarily have the same views. And if we don't have the same views, I wouldn't know it because you're respectful enough not to shove it in my face, you know? Um, and not to say that you're like a two-faced person or things of that nature, but I think there's just a certain decorum that I've cultivated with people that they know that if you're hanging out with me or you're hanging out in chat, we know, okay, you're the same type of vibe, right? I always say you're not for everyone and everyone is not for you. And I
Yeah.
take that into I really do take that when cultivating the space. So when I started, I really wanted to be as open and as positive and to really just um attract people who are just generally good people to hang around with, right? And I think I've been pretty successful with that. I've made so many friends and things of that nature. And it's so weird for me because I know a lot of other content creators like and everyone does their own thing and they have to lock down their discourse, they have to put like 3 pages of rules, they have to like they always have to like check up on other members to be like, hey, you can't really say this, you can't really do that. And I've been lucky enough, let me knock on some wood here, I've been lucky enough that I haven't had to do that because I think they know that if they come hang out with me and the space and people, it just has naturally been there. I don't know. Maybe I'm blessed by the ancestor or something. That hasn't been an issue with me, but that's been my experience with cultivating a safe space, right? And I can always talk about discourse space as well. Like having discourse is also healthy, having conversations, but that's for another time.
Thank you. Amazing. um okay, well, do you guys want to add something to that, to the responsibility part?
Um,
Um,
I, I was gonna say for us, I mean, because we stream together, like you can see both of our webcams, both of our gameplay. Um, we kind of learned early on that there really isn't any hiding it. We'll have people come in being like, "Oh, are you guys friends? Are you guys roommates? Are you guys like, are you even in the same room?" But like we're very upfront. We're like, we are a couple. Like we play together. That's our whole thing. Um, but I kind of like that. That's given us almost like a confidence in knowing that like this is who we are. We are very like authentic. We are like what you see is it is like truly us. And I think that's kind of like reflected onto our community, and people feel safe being who they are. And like there isn't really any hiding in our chat or in our stream. So I think for us, we've cultivated that just by being there, just being by being ourselves, really.
Hmm. Yeah, I think authenticity is so key, and I think sometimes we joke that our safe space is an unsafe space. So, in a sense that, we will throw shade at you, you can throw shade at us, we'll have a fun, we'll have a kiki, and it's all light because that's what I think queer as queer people, but like we almost become like a family. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like you throw jabs at each other, but it's all jest, all fun, and thankfully, like we're blessed enough that we've received messages where we have someone who watches us who's like unsure about, not unsure, but not as visible about their transness. And they're like, thank you so much for treating me the same as other people
Mm-hmm.
and not making it. Because I think like we have to give that energy to that. We just have to treat everyone the same so everyone feels safe. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But yeah, if we also have clear boundaries too. So if anyone's offensive, like chop. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's
Definitely.
important too.
Uh, Sorry, another thing also I just remembered is that I feel like, well, for me personally, like this is my first kind of like long-term relationship. I'm almost 30 years old, and I feel like I feel like growing up, I really would have loved to have seen sort of kind of like gay representation, especially like a couple, in the gaming space. So I feel like whenever I feel like insecure, or whenever I feel like not confident enough doing what we're doing, I always have to remind myself, actually, like, just imagine seeing what we're doing as a kid, and I'm like, okay, actually, it has a lot more meaning, a lot more importance than I can actually like imagine it. So I think that helps me a lot and helps create that space.
Yes, amazing. About
I will,
like
well,
yeah,
I will
Valkyrie
actually
wanted to ask.
vouch for JoJo. When I first hopped in their chat, immediately right off rip, they're like, "Hey, we throw jabs here. We're just a heads up. Like, please don't scare her away." So like, I already knew kind of like what I was getting into in their chat. Um, I think I've only ever had one issue where I've had to remind people that like everyone belongs here. And it was like people were arguing about lore. It was like something about lore or like how the lore applied to the developers. And it was like somebody had said something like adults, Google is your friend. And then somebody came back, the adult thing to do. And like, I think the same is come off strong in what you represent, in what you want your community to be. So everyone is welcome in my chat, but at the end of the day, the number one rule is, and can I like use bad words, or do we need to keep it like family friendly, or like my number one rule is just like don't be a dick. that's that's really it is. Just don't be a jerk. Everybody, so like when I start to see like that passive aggressive condescension towards people, now you're doing it to be a jerk. And now you're doing it, you don't want to have a conversation. And we're not going to do that. That's not my chat, and my stream is not going to be the environment for that. If you want to take that offline and want to argue over on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, pick your poison, that's fine, but we're not going to do it here live in my chat when people are just trying to have a good time. And that's, I think, the first and foremost thing is we're just here for the vibes. We're just here for the vibes. We're here to play a video game we all love. We're here to talk about a video game we all love. And when you come in with the backhandedness, immediately I have no problem shutting that down. That's not something that I have an issue with, and if that loses me a follower, then so be it. And Sperry even said when she first met me, she told Mr. Sperry, I absolutely love her because whatever she believes in, she says with her entire chest, and she does so unapologetically. And that's something that I've always prided myself on, is that if I don't like how you're coming at me or the people that I love and care about, I will sound off. And it's happened, like I said, it's happened once before in my chat, but I think that one time was enough where chat knew, like, nope, we're not, we're not testing that.
It's similar for me too, to be honest, because I always come off as this, everybody knows Ma, as the mother of all and kind and nice and forthcoming. But God forbid anybody steps on somebody who is from my community or who I love, I turn mama bear so quickly. Like, literally, you don't want to mess with me when I'm like that. So
Oh,
I
I could
feel
tell
that.
that's spicy.
No, but listen, it's important. It's important to know your weaknesses and your strengths and, use them accordingly, because there is a barrier that nobody should ever cross in any type, be it, with words, be it with gestures, be it whatever it is. And I, for example, like people who are openly negative more than finding out that they're so behind my back. You know what I mean? I'd rather deal with a person attacking somebody in my chat or me or whatever, rather than finding out through, I don't know, 5 people that somebody has been bad mouthing me behind my back. So, we can deal with many things, but I can only imagine how much more difficult these challenges and being, having strength to go through that is for the LGBTQ community, because, I can only guess that it's a struggle. Which leads me, Caleb, have you ever had toxicity in your kind of chat or in your gaming history?
Yes, but not directly correlated to being LGBT. It was more so for loot drama.
Mm-hmm,
Classic
mm-hmm.
players once again.
Yeah.
God. I mean, no. The biggest, like, sometimes you'll have trolls come once in a while in chat, and it's funny because I've had several instances where someone will come and be like, "Oh, yo, what's up, gay unk?" or whatever the case may be, and they'll say whatever, and I'll just volley with them. I'm like, "Oh yeah," as like, "Is this your first time having a gay uncle? Like, how does it feel like what's going on?" Right? And I do end up winning a lot of the trolls over that actually come by. They're like, "Oh, hey, one was just in chat last night. I'm not gonna call them out, Val. Another Val, by the way. Um, they come and they just want to say they'll
I
say
was gonna say,
something.
I think I'm like one of the few that come in that doesn't bully.
Yeah. No, I'm telling like genuine trolls that have come in and they'll try to test the waters because I think a lot of people that do troll or try to be toxic are just trying to get a reaction from streamers. And that is something that I've noticed in like my year and a half of doing this. It's been short term, but um they'll say something like, they'll say something very politically charged or something very personal, like a personal attack. They'll attack your with physical appearance or whatever the case may be, and you're just like, for me is like, I'm such a people person. I'm gonna get down to your soul and figure out what the hell is wrong with you, because I'm also a psychologist background, and those
So
people
they're
end up
doomed
staying. Yeah, they're doomed. Like,
from the
you're stuck with
get-go.
me now.
They just don't know it.
You're gonna come lurk in my channel now after we've had this interaction. I gave them attention, but not in the way that they wanted it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So no other going back to no, just playing. Other than just like little quips, things of that nature. I know that happens to a lot of folks. Um, I'm always on the ready with the like lockdown button, with the shield button. That I've had friends in the space who have been coordinated attacked by like communities. I don't know if you're all familiar with the Twitch used to have the hate raids where people would come into people's channels and just say all this derogatory, very terrible things in chat. And you had to be really quick of getting that locked down. And that hasn't happened to me. It's also just been like I said, small little personal things, and they'll
I
test
don't
the water.
understand that. I literally,
Yeah,
like, I'm
yeah.
sitting here and I'm just like, I don't understand why anybody would use energy, like physical energy to do stuff like that.
Hmm.
Like Valkyrie, I've also been saving, dogs lots from really horrible places and horrible situations and rehoming them, and there was always some dogs in the house, either puppies or whatever's. And like the things that I have seen there, like the human, like the utter human hate and disgustingness is something that I am openly battling with my persona, with who I am and what I stand for. And I think that this is why I resonate so much with the LGBTQ community, because I think that all of you do the same. You know, you're like every day battling all of the stigmas, all of that negativity with basically just pure like rainbow sunshine and happiness, you know, that you're trying to you know, give to the world and give to yourself and to everybody who kind of meets you. Jojo's, I wonder, do you like, how do I phrase this? Because the question was in my head for 2 minutes now. Since you are basically always visible online as a couple, did you ever feel that you have to protect, you know, your relationship or your personal space while being visible online? Was there ever such a situation? Because we were just talking about, you know, people coming in and, you know, being mean and so on.
Mhm. I think there is that extra struggle in being a relationship where it is two of us. We've had streams where like literally like 5 minutes before we have an argument and we're like, well, we need to jump in now and just, you know, get rid of that. Um, so I think it's we kind of treat it as almost like a job, not in the sense that like we love doing it, it's our passion, but we kind of have to like put also our sometimes our relationship aside and also set that boundary so um people can't really like, it's almost like a guard in a way, so it's like people can't like break down what we have and our like personal issues and our personal kind of like relationship. Obviously our relationship is online, but we also have our own private part that people maybe don't see and don't really have a part of. For the most part we've been quite lucky, like we haven't really had any negative experiences, I'd say.
Let's hope it
We
stays
have
that
some
way,
people,
or Ma will have to come kick some
Yeah.
ass.
hopefully. We've had people come in and maybe like question the relationship. They're like, "Oh, are you guys actually together?" Like,
Mm.
I don't know, but just very like minimal things that have happened, I guess.
Yeah, and I think the important part is that we always check in with each other. You know, like Valentine's just passed, and we were like, "Do you want to do a Valentine's Day stream?" And it was like, "Actually, no, wait. Let's keep something a bit sacred for our relationship." Do you know what I mean? And I think we've also like behind the scenes we have like a safe word. So if one of us feels uncomfortable, because again we're
Ooh, this is getting spicy. Let's go.
yeah, harder. No, I'm joking. Um, if we're individuals at the same time, so something in chat that might upset me might not upset Teo.
Yeah.
But we have a word that we say, which is like, okay, this has made me feel a bit shaky. This has made me feel some type of way. So the other supports the other. And we have these behind the scenes things as well. I would say in our stream, it's been less negative, but like in a weird way, the only like, I think negative experience I feel like we've had is this over sexualization of our relationship in WoW. Like we've like when we first started streaming, and I remember this so vividly, a guy came in, he was like, "If I subscribe, will you make out?" And we were like, "Oh, that's
Oh
not,
God.
that's not the." I mean, we got to subscribe, but no, I'm joking. But I think that's like the only instances where I think we faced it. Obviously, we've had people come in and try and be trolls, but I don't think they know what they're getting into when there's two of us as well.
Yeah.
Because we'll read you to filth and then keep it pushing. But yeah, I think the
That is so
relationship part
amazing.
is something that I mean, at the end of the day, if Teo turned around and said, I think streaming is affecting our relationship, I'd be like, let's end streaming. Do you know what I mean? Because my priority is him.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it comes
Aw,
down to at the end of the day.
that's some couple goals right there.
Thank you.
You
Totally.
should have
And now,
demanded
because
100
sorry,
subs.
Valkyrie, but I have to
You
say
like,
this or I will forget it. Like, because of what you said with Rathian, I cannot unsee now Rathian and Anduin together. I'm so sorry. This is
Right?
gonna become such a thing now.
Right?
Oh
Like
my God.
he said there's nobody in the game that looks like me, and I'm like, I can't
Mm.
look like him
Start writing the fanfics.
we
though.
have to do
Rathian
that.
looks like him. Like,
Oh my God. Valkyrie, by the way, since we're at challenges and strengths, as a strong female, which you obviously are, were there any unique challenges in WoW that you have experienced, or not really WoW only, but as a streamer and as a content creator?
In WoW, I think the beginning of my WoW journey was a frustrating experience. We ended up, it wasn't LGBT related. It was Sperry and I were in a guild, and there were several other women in the guild. And the guild leader, what he started doing was kidnapping us into a private Discord voice channel whenever he found us in voice channel with other guildmates. And it started to get really, really uncomfortable to the point where, long story short, Sperry and I ended up leaving the guild. We formed with our friend Blue, the berry bush. And then we ended up finding Zeg and Geezers, which we raided with for a little bit. And then we found Tribe, who we are still with to this day. And so, like, all of the negative WoW experiences I've actually had the privilege to share them with another person who also streams as well. Um, and when I've experienced any kind of toxicity, I don't know if it's just I'm like jaded or I'm desensitized. I was in the army for 8.5 years, so any type of toxicity towards women, towards the LGBT community, like anything that I've seen, like I've already seen it in my 8.5 years in. And so, and even like during that time, I was playing Modern Warfare 2 on Xbox in 2009 in like Xbox Live lobbies. And so this was before you even had Xbox Party Chat. So anytime I hopped into a lobby, everyone could hear me.
Holy.
And it was immediately like, oh my God, are you a girl? And it could go one of two ways. Either they asked me to show them my feet, or they were telling me, bitch, get the fuck back in the kitchen. Like,
Yeah, go make me a
it was just
sandwich. I heard that many
right,
times.
right. And then I would shoot him in the face, and then and they would die. So, I mean, but I've also had like threats. So I've already kind of like I'm going to be 36 now, and I've been playing video games since I was 7 years old. And I've voice chat is crazy. Deloria said voice chat was super crazy. This was like wild wild west of the internet. Like there was no moderators, there were no terms of service. It was free game. And I mean, I wouldn't dare repeat the threats that I've received just over a video game. Um, and so I think I already kind of had to learn pretty fast to have a thick skin. And like right now, I think majority of the toxicity or anybody who tries to come in to trip up the streamer, like SCF Plays said, is on TikTok actually. Where my question on TikTok is, what are you maining in Midnight and why? And I had one person come in and they were like, I'm maining Final Fantasy 14 for Midnight. Or like somebody comes in, I'm maining classic for Midnight. And it's just one of those situations like, here, let me take this moment to like subtly shit on something that makes you really happy. And they get mad because I just look and I'm like, okay. And I'll just keep going with the
Whatever
conversation.
floats your boat.
Yeah, well, you didn't have to get snarky. I'm just trying to have a conversation. Where did you think this conversation was going to go?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not entertaining it. We're gonna move on. And I think so a lot of trolls don't really like me because they're not really successful in getting the reaction out of me that they were hoping for, that they wanted, even in real life in the military. In those days, this was before all of the stories were coming out on social media, where we didn't really have as much of a presence on social media talking about SA and things that were happening to women in the military. It was stuff that we had to suffer in silence. And so again, just having that resiliency, having that, um, I had to really build a backbone very, very fast, or else I was going to crumble. I didn't have a choice. And so I think coming into this community and coming into streaming, and I've had the moments of toxicity, but I've learned to navigate it in a way where I almost pull like a leaf out of, uh, I keep bringing her up because she's just freaking awesome. I take a leaf out of Sperry's book and I'm like, this is a person who did not get enough attention, but
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to get it from me. So sorry, like that's just not something that I want to spend my energy on. There are other people that are willing to dive in and they're willing to have that conversation with them. Me personally, if that is your intent coming in, I'm not giving you the conversation and you can move on to the next person. It's I don't, my energy I've given out to people for so long that I protect that with a vengeance, right? I That is not something, because my ultimate responsibility coming in as a streamer is to foster an environment that is welcoming, that's positive, that's fun, that
Mm-hmm.
has vibes. We can go a little tit for tat, we can throw jabs here and there.
Hey,
I
Kaya.
mean, I've got Gory and Hendrix as mods, they bully me all the time. So like, but I'm also lucky in the fact that, camera, we need to chill. I've also I don't know what to
Your camera loves you so much. So much.
my camera is on one today.
At least it loves you and wants to get close to you. Mine just
I know, right?
decided not to work at all. So, you know.
But I've also been very lucky when I first came into streaming that I I I made friends really quickly because I had such a supportive friend like Sperry who told me to start streaming. And so a lot of, the traction I've gotten now and a lot of the followers I've got now, the community I've built now is because of her pushing me out there. Um, and with that, I've also gotten really amazing moderators who are in my chat, and the moment that they see anything be problematic or weird or just not okay, they're on it before I can even see it. Um, I've got really strong moderators that, even though they throw jabs at me, even though they there was one episode where they basically waterboarded me. I had to like hide the hydrate button. But like, even with that, I think I've got really amazing moderators that put the needs of my stream and my chat first. Um, and they're amazing. So I think having kind of that, I've built the skills, but because of my moderators, I haven't really had to practice it that much. I haven't had
Mm-hmm.
to use it that much, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, since you're talking about moderators, very good bridge to the last topic like the group topic, which is chosen family, right? And maybe like impact, we could say. Caleb, the question for you would be, has WoW ever carried you through something heavy, that you were going through in real life?
What has it not carried me through is the real question. Yes, it has carried me in a lot of things. I mean, full transparency, I've gone through my midlife crisis already. Uh, World of Warcraft. It's funny enough, it coincides, you become a new person as a content creator and streamer, but it was like midlife crisis. Uh, and this is more recently, right? Within the past year and a half, 2 years. And I think I was able to take a lot of the anxious energy of what I was going through and focusing it into creation energy, which I hold really dear. So World of Warcraft has afforded me the opportunity to be able to exert all of like anxious energy. Um, a lot of instances where I've been able to keep in touch with people uh, nowhere else, no other medium except World of Warcraft, and for that I'm always grateful for that. And also just some of my greatest live life experiences have been in the game, tackling very difficult scenarios with people, like raids and things of that nature. I really have it really becomes a highlight of my life. And I know that for some people that might sound lame, like, wow, you feel a mythic raid killing a boss is like a big, yes, it's a big accomplishment for me because um you're on other people's time and you're spending that time together and you choose to spend that time with people in
Mm-hmm.
that forum in that avenue of World of Warcraft. And it has gotten I look forward to expansions, I look forward to BlizzCon, I look forward to all of the community events that I've recently been at. Northrend Live, I say, was the top 5 best one of the best weekends of my life. And that's saying a lot because I'm old and I've been around the
You're not
block.
old. Oh my
Like
God.
I've been around the block. So to say that I had an amazing top 5 experience of my life in World of Warcraft, like outside with the community, it says a lot. So
Yeah, but
I'm
I'm
just
sorry, isn't it way more nicer to have a midlife crisis in WoW where you can, instead of buying a Porsche, you buy a Brutosaur and you're done with it? You know what I mean? It's
oh
like,
girl, I spent like 1 million gold at housing decor just to get items. Like it's real
bro,
out
I
here.
was there. I was there when we were making piers and, beaches and stuff. I was like
Yeah.
invested. I was sending you sketches and shit. So
You
I
were,
know.
you were. I love it. I love it. But yeah, no, it's carried me through a lot, so I'm always grateful for it.
No, that's so nice. Jojo's, has someone ever told you that your visibility as, a queer couple that's gaming has helped them feel, less alone, more included, loved, whatever it is?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, I think we always promote our stream as being like a safe space. So like that's kind of what we welcome. And we've had lovely people just always kind of acknowledge that. One stream that sticks to my mind is like I had my mom come in once, and she's so like really bad at technology. She was like, it took her 30 minutes to figure out how to send a comment or anything. Um, but she finally did, and I was like, "Hey, Chad, this is my mom. Like, be nice, like all of that." And there was a lot of really positive messages, like, "Oh, your son's created such a safe space for us and such a like lovely environment, and having us two together has kind of really like sparked that love and like seeing a couple kind of like flourish so well in like a gaming space is kind of that's kind of like the goal for us. And yeah, it's always so like nice to see it and to hear it from people. So
And I think that term like goals gets thrown around a lot, right? It's like
yeah.
couple goals and stuff like that. But like we did when we jumped in to this chat with you guys, is we said we're a real life couple with real life problems. And like that's the truth. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're presenting this like nice 4 hour window of when we're like perfectly good, but like we do have those problems. So like I think people relate to that we're not a facade. Do you know what I mean? If
Yeah.
I'm feeling ill, you're gonna see me ill on camera. I'm still gonna be playing WoW. I'm gonna get like irritated with things he says, but it's just like that's who we are, and I think that's where that allure is. And it's been like aside from just being a couple, just people being saying like, oh, it's nice to see like an interracial couple. It's nice to see a same-sex couple. It makes me feel safe, and it's nice. And people are like, oh, you're our WoW dads, and I'm like, okay, hold on. I'm not old enough to be anyone's dad. I am, but I'm not.
Mommy and daddy.
Mommy and daddy, exactly.
Well, that's
But no,
amazing.
it's always a really like wonderful thing to hear, and that is kind of like not, I wouldn't say why we do it, but it's just the beauty of it, I feel, because like we're best friends in real life, and I think we if we can translate that online, and if people see that and feel welcomed by that, then we're doing something right.
That's amazing. Valkyrie, if you would have a young girl or boy or however they want to call themselves, and an LGBTQ kind of new gamer, and that person is watching tonight and unsure if they belong in this sort of world, what would you tell them as a from a teaching point of view?
Ooh, I
Hey, I
probably would
worked on my
tell them this.
questions. I did my homework here.
Yeah, That's a good question. That's a really good question. I'm going to snooze these ads, and I wish I could turn them off for today.
Oprah, I'm channeling. Oprah, here I come.
So I don't think it would be any different than what I would tell a straight student is that you're going to learn later in life. And unfortunately, it just takes later in life to learn this lesson. But the people that are supposed to be around you and the people that are supposed to be there with you will be there. Um, I think a lot of times, especially growing up and especially during that really vulnerable time, we are so focused on acceptance that we lose ourselves in it. Um, my circle is very small. If you were going to ask me how many people I would trust with my 16-year-old daughter, which totally made me feel old because they said they're not old enough to be parents, but here I am, 35 with a teenager. So, um, so like, um, I had a 10-year-old when I was your age. So,
I totally
but
feel this. That's why I'm
yeah.
silent. Like, I'm the second
So
oldest here.
so I think a lot of times, especially in that very vulnerable time in our lives, we lose ourselves into acceptance. We want to be accepted. We want to belong. We're very social. I honestly don't really like people and I don't leave my house very often. But even with that being said, like we are a very social species. We want that human connection, which is why I don't leave my house. But that's why I also have Florida Man here. You know, like Florida Man is my boyfriend, and that's what we call him on my channel. But it's that's why I live with him. That's why I'm with him. But I just don't like people. Even though like if you ask me how many people I trust with my daughter, I can say two, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to like, I've got friends who I can kind of like, shoot the shit with, like have grab a drink, like maybe go grab a lunch. Like I can hang out with those people and I can go out and socialize. But if I'm like, if tomorrow me and my boyfriend break up, I have two people I can call and that's it. That those
Mm-hmm.
are the only two people I'm calling because those are the only two people that A, I can trust to be around me, and B, that will tell me things that I need to hear, not like I want to hear, that aren't going to sit here and placate me. They're going to be 100% real. They're going to be honest and they're going to tell me how it is. Um, I would tell these kids, find your people. I've got two people. I've got no, three people. Allie, Danielle, and I've got Heather. Fine, and especially Danielle. Danielle is like my best friend. Well, and then of course Sperry's in there. Um, actually, I'm just gonna say this: find you a Sperry like that. My
Oh my God,
Sperry.
yes.
That is my friend. That is like you guys know her from streaming. You guys know her as Sperry and Mr. Sperry and Baby Sperry. I My friendship with her predates streaming. And so if I'm having a really hard time where I don't need to talk to therapists, I need to talk to a friend. I
Mm-hmm.
can call her, I can text her, I can message her, and she will soundboard and say things that are not going to be things to placate me, but offer me another perspective or offer me a source of resiliency. And those are people that you need to have. You don't need to have yes men. You don't need to have yes people
Yeah, you need to
around
have
you.
people who cut through your bullshit, basically.
And then, furthermore, and this is something that I had to learn really fast too, because I don't know if you've noticed, if you watch me on stream, I'm an intense person and I'm very aware of how intense I am. I am so aware of how intense I am to the point where my friend Danielle tells me there is no, she says, there, I love you, but there is no resting to your bitch face. So like I like I'm very aware of how I look, how I come across, and how I appear. And I have tried so hard to mute that and to pull that back to please people because I can't tell you how many times I've sat in an elevator, I'm having a wonderful day, and then someone looks at me and tells me, it's okay, your day will get better. There was nothing wrong. Like, so my face isn't cheerful enough. um,
You're
I
Morticia.
I'm Morticia.
Totally.
And so like I honestly I found something, somebody said something and it was on Instagram and it was you are not too much. They just don't have a big enough cup. So find someone with a bigger cup.
Mm-hmm.
Like the people who have cups that you fit in, those are the people that you want to be around. Those are the people that you want to spend your energy on. And I know as a teenager, as a young person, it's very frustrating because you're still looking for those people. But once you have those people, you will realize that the acquaintances around you really, if they were supposed to be there, they would be there. Um, yeah,
Totally.
I don't lose yourself trying to please people.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't, because it doesn't your cup's going to get empty and then you can't take care of anyone else. Find people who
Mm.
fill your own cup in the process.
Yeah, well, as we said, literally, I said it on the beginning that tonight is about people. So you need to make aware who you are as a person and also, what you can do to elevate everybody else's, day and life. And you never know what kind of um, grand gesture you're actually giving to somebody by just, being yourself and engaging with them and everything. I said it is about people and especially about the ones that found kind of safety and courage and even sometimes themselves inside your stream or inside of Azeroth or inside the LGBTQ community. WoW has always been more than a game, definitely. I think we can
Yeah.
all agree with that. And for many in the LGBTQ community specifically, it's became, as you said in the beginning about, the transmogs and the appearances, but it kind of became a rehearsal space for authenticity, authenticity. That one.
I would like to add that I think what really gave me an advantage as a teacher is that I'm really bad at covering this. So one of the common theme among students who really connected to me, and a lot of them did, and I mean I had when I was moving to Florida, I had kids that were stopping me in the hallways. These are the same kids that I'm getting on, that I'm hard on them. I'm reminding them of my expectations consistently to the point where they think I'm picking on them. These are the same kids. I thought they hated my guts. Apparently, they're sitting, Miss Rob, you're moving? What do you mean you're leaving? Why are you leaving? Like, I thought you hated me, dude. What? Like these,
Mm,
but it was because the common theme was they never had to question where they stood with me, and they
yeah.
never had to question what kind of person I am. I
Yeah.
was always 100% authentic and myself. I'm not going to sit here and fake that I'm this overly nurturing mom with a voice for, kindergarten. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not. And
Yeah,
I
but
will never pretend that I am.
you gave them a place to test, truth and a place
Yeah.
to exist fully when real life, sometimes is not always ready to accept that, especially
And
now
for
in a.
some people,
You go on.
and for some people, that might be even their first experience with authenticity. And some people might not even know what to do with that.
Well,
They don't know how to process that. And so they might pull back a little bit and it might be too much for people, but that's because you're presenting something that they're not ready to process yet. And that's okay.
yeah.
They don't have to be. It just means if they do end up in your life, it's not the time for them to be in your life right now.
Yeah, totally. Well, especially for me with this first episode, it was at the moment we live in a time where life feels very fragile. I feel, be it in the U.S. or in the EU, anywhere on planet Earth, basically. And I really wanted this first episode to stand for something, for something lasting that people can look back to. I wanted it to stand for inclusivity, visibility, belonging somewhere. Because all of you here, were invited by me because you can speak from experience. You can speak about respecting each other, and you hold all of the hard conversations very gently, and you listen. And this is what you're famous for, except for Caleb, who is an icon. We won't speak about that. But anyway, as said in the beginning, or what I'm known for is basically, I always write in my posts that at Ma's table, everyone deserves a seat. So, a question for all of you, like the first out of two questions, and then we're done. What does like that phrase that I always say, a seat at the table, mean to you personally? Let's go from Caleb.
A seat at a table is really, I think, it's such a great way of describing um bringing people in, but not always conversate them, but nourish them. When I think of a table, a seat at a table, I'm thinking of feeding them, right? Whether it's metaphorically or literally, right? Ma's restaurant, right? A seat at the table, someone. It's it honestly, I think it also is just the core of who you are as a person. Like I cannot imagine going, Mom, I'm gonna come visit you, right? And then I come over and
My fridge is
you're
empty.
like,
That would never happen.
yeah, my friend, exactly. That's exactly where I was
Like,
going.
I'd be waiting
Like,
at the door, bitch, with 100 pancakes. You know what I mean?
yes. So I think that's just it just naturally goes with who you are as a person, and having a seat at the table and just listening to your story and your experiences and what you um, have been offering to people in your life this whole time, right? Um, I don't want to go into it, but you've had you've had your struggles, and even then, you still find time and space for other people to come sit at the table with you. So I think that just truly shows who you are as a person, and I think it's a perfect phrase and a perfect worldview and perspective to bring bring people to the table. So that totally encapsulates you and your spirit. So I'm here. I'm living for it. I'm so grateful to have known you uh, through WoW, through social media, through streaming and
For
things of
me
that nature.
jumping onto your stream and being like, what you doing?
Yes, yes. And me always, because you are the most beautiful woman
I am definitely
on.
not. I know,
Yes.
like,
No,
yeah, I
no,
know
I
a
don't
tall
lie.
glass of
Listen,
water.
I don't lie. You are a
I
tall
know,
glass
I
of
know you
water.
don't lie. No, but funnily enough, I cannot say, this sounds stupid, but you will understand what I mean. I have been part of the LGBTQ community because as a teenager, like Valkyrie too, and her mom, I've been experimenting. I had also a girlfriend for a good year. And I was like, with my husband, when we walk down the street and a very beautiful woman comes by, I'm the first one to actually turn around and go like, oh my God, okay, praise the Lord for you and your body and everything you do. But it's like, it's not LGBTQ, in my opinion, is not just how you are born, and but it's like a mindset. It is this openness to the world and to everybody, to see beyond the shell that they are encapsulating at this moment, but actually see their soul behind it. So this is why I was always very inclusive and very open to talk about everything that is LGBTQ related. But yes, Jojo's, what does a seat at the table mean to you guys?
I think sorry, I think Caleb encapsulated it pretty perfectly. One thing I'd add is it kind of gives the idea as well as being open-minded and um, realizing that maybe like even things that maybe you don't understand, or maybe people that you're meeting for the first time and they're bringing a fresh perspective and a fresh identity that maybe you're not accustomed to, or you don't quite understand. But it is that fact of being like, well, you're welcome here. I'm here. I'm ready to listen to your story, listen to who you are, listen to your identity, and being open to just really kind of like welcoming that and being like, oh, okay, I get who you are. And even if you're still discovering that, that's fine. Like that's what we're here for. We're here to allow that growth, allow that journey. And I think it's a perfect phrase, especially for streaming as well. I feel like we've only been streaming for less than a year, and I feel like the community has really shown us that it is that kind of space to be like, well, you're allowed to make mistakes here. You're allowed to understand your brand, your identity, and all of that. But it's a part of the journey. It's a part of really kind of like getting to know everyone and getting to know yourself. So yeah.
Well, I
Yeah,
figured
I think
out
it's
that everybody loves pancakes, by the way. You can be gay, trans, bi, straight, whatever. Everybody loves pancakes. And if you do not, then you have a real problem, which is definitely not your gayness. Like that's it.
Exactly.
well, exactly. I think Teo said it perfectly. And I think on top of that, for me, I see there's a space for you at the table. Is almost saying you have the autonomy now to choose whether or not you want to occupy this space and learn and grow, like Teo said. So I think it's very empowering. It's very much saying you have the power now to change your own mind or sit at the table and consume the knowledge or whatever I'm feeding you. But that's on you, babes. It's not on us to bring the food to you. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's very powerful in that way too.
Definitely. Thank you for that. Valkyrie, what does a seat at the table mean to you personally? And me and you had some conversations and,
We
streams together.
did. We did. First, I think WoW perfectly encapsulates what a seat at a table is. And I'm gonna speak from a streamer standpoint. So I started streaming in October, and since October, we've hit 400, almost 430 people who watched my stream and said, "Sure, click and follow." Like I've noticed when we have WoW streamers compared to the rest of the Twitch community or the rest of the TikTok communities, we are very lucky, I think, as a WoW community, as the WoW community. I can't find another community on any streaming platform that pushes support for other streamers as hard as WoW streamers do. Um, I
Mm-hmm.
messed up and I said chat in Inti and Teo's chat. And immediately they were like, "Are you a streamer? Are you do you are you a streamer?" Like, and they got so excited about it. And like immediately they followed me. They've popped in my stream. Caleb's popped in my stream. I've had raids from people, like the amount of push. And then I've started getting people like Wu Tank and Level Up Kent and like Shoujo AIE. And I've got It's GFO and like all of these other amazing streamers that have already been doing this and who are already established. They're like, "Here, come on, come join us." And I think when you say a seat at the table, I think the WoW community, it just does that so well. You're going to have some toxicity. You're going to have some people that are negative and they do try to bring the vibes down. But I think the community in WoW is so strong that those people naturally just kind of weed themselves out. It's almost like akin to like the trash taking itself out, right? We're not necessarily pushing people out. They have noticed that we have created such a boundary, such a barrier of positivity that they're not gonna get in. Um, I think
I
a
have
seat
to just add that I have like a paladin bubble on this one because funnily
yeah.
enough, when you have cancer, nobody really wants to be toxic around you because they're probably like, oh, she has enough to deal with. I don't need to be toxic around you. You're dying anyway, so goodbye. Um, you're laughing, but it's true. Like literally, I've not met anyone be toxic to me yet. So please,
I
botanical. I'm sorry, but it is like that.
let me find out somebody is toxic to Ma or anybody
Like
here.
literally, I
Like
haven't met anybody,
what's up, Mama Bear?
and I actually have met a gay young man, I'm not gonna name names, whatever, but he actually wrote me and he told me that he cried on watching me stream once because he felt that mom energy that he missed from his mom, who is really against him, him being gay and everything. And we were talking and I was totally, like fine with it. And we were talking and I was like, oh, you look so cute and blah, blah, blah. And even though I have no clue how he looks like or, what the heck is going on. But I was like, my myself. And I was like, what's up, honey? Why you, in a bad mood? Let me make you pancakes. You always have a seat at my table. And he actually said, I started crying because this is what I needed. I needed, a ma to be there for me that day because I was having a rough patch. So this this seat at the table, this is why my restaurant is built as such, with a huge flower bed on the ceiling, and just a very kind of powerful statement of nature being around you, and me kind of engulfing you in this safety net of where you can fall into.
Yeah. Um, I think when we say seat at the table, right? I grew up in a super huge Mexican Hispanic family, and we had like 20 people trying to cramp into like a 2-bedroom house, like and we would go till 2 in the morning, and everybody was welcome. Everybody was dancing, we're drinking, we're eating, we're having a great time. And when you have people at your table, those are the people that you choose as part of your family. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that is a big factor about the WoW community, is that this is a table and we do have seats at it, and it means that our voices are heard. It means that we're seen. It means that we're cared for. It means that I could have a bad day and I can get on here, and the people around, either I can play and forget about it, or I can even play and then the people I'm playing with are there to listen, and they
Mm-hmm.
listen so well. When I was going through my divorce, I was going through a divorce of like, I was married to this man for 10 years, and all throughout those 10 years were just rife with addiction, whether like all kinds of substances. And it got to the point where I myself was in like the deepest depression hole. And when I would log on here, I felt that. I felt the seat at the table. Like, we want you here. We love you here. And when I was going through my divorce and separating, moving into my own new place, trying to
Mm.
manage my bills, trying to, figure out my life with a child, I don't think I felt more safe than Wednesday nights at 8 p.m., because that's the time that we raid with Tribe. Was when
Mm-hmm.
I was with
Mm-hmm.
my people. I was with my people. I was with my friends. And for those like 4 hours, I could just forget that I have these things in my life going on, and it doesn't matter what I have going on. I'm being accepted. I'm accepted. Um, I'm welcomed. Very much and you'll hear it all the time down here in the Bible Belt. Come as you are. But I
Yeah.
think that's a phrase that can be applied here very much so. Come as you are. It doesn't matter what you got going on in life. We're here to play video games and we want to have you. You are welcome here.
Yes, totally. I fully agree with you. Um, One last question, and this is basically you have to complete this sentence, okay? I just want you all to complete the sentence. Doesn't need to be like huge, it just needs to be what you stand for, kind of. WoW gave me dot dot dot. So WoW gave me dot dot dot. What is the dot 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 for you personally, Caleb? Thinking cap on. Let's go. One last push.
WoW gave me my best friends.
Aww. That's amazing. Okay. JoJo's. WoW gave me dot dot dot.
I would say like memories, like good memories.
Oh, that's nice.
I'll take connection.
Connection. Also very interesting. Valkyrie.
Um, Stability.
Stability.
That might
Wow.
be dramatic, but
No, not at all. Not at all. See, Azeroth may be pixels for some, right? For many people actually out there. But the courage found in the game and as for us as streamers and content creators, I think is very real. The friendships that we made are real and the growth is real. So, and if this table at my restaurant at Maz stands for anything, it stands for belonging for all of us. So I'm really thankful and thank you so much for sharing your stories and for your visibility. And thank you to everyone who was watching and here with us, who chose to sit with us tonight. So please just always remember that at Ma's table, there will be always room for you. And with that, I am basically finishing this and we will just have a quick chat. And that's it for episode 1. I hope you had fun. Yay!
I had so much fun. Yay!
Bye.
Okay, was it a
friends.
good Oprah? Over and out. I'm out. I'm dead.
Perfect.
Thank you,
Bro,
everyone.
you were good out. You were a good
Thank you.
Oprah.
I'm a good
Yeah.
Oprah. Okay, now you get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car.
You get them out. You
I
get
wish.
'em out.
I'll
You
send
get
you
'em
like
out.
Lego cars.
Someone find me a wild boyfriend.
Okay, I'll find you that one. Okay, anybody, please, all kind of CVs of potential boyfriends for Mr. Caleb right here.
Just
Send
hit
it
the
to Maz.
DMs. I just played by the way.
I will go through them. And I made actually a mistake. Caleb, how old are you?
Me? I'm 38.
38. So I'm actually the oldest in the stream, right? I said
Yeah,
second
it's
oldest,
okay.
but I'm the oldest. So don't you give me that midlife crisis BS here, mister.
Hey, it was a midlife crisis, but that's for another day. All right, love you guys.
Thank you so much.
Bye,
Thank you so
Caleb.
much. Bye, Caleb. Yes. So as said, thank you very much for everybody who was here. And I love you guys. Jojo Gaming, you are the reason that I will try to get my husband to actively start streaming, right?
Yeah.
Because
Do it.
we are a co-tanking duo in our guilds, and like
I love
that needs to be seen, the whole drama. I think that will be very funny. Valkyrie, thank you so much. You're always a joy. And for those that have
Thank you.
stuck with us until this moment, a little kind of preview the episode 2 of Ma's Table Talk. I almost said Ma's WoW Restaurant, funnily. Ma's Table Talk is on the 7th of March. And it's about health, psyche, and WoW. So we will have the amazing Sperry, of course, with us. And also to other people that can tell more, with me included, about health and psyche and all the stuff that is with that. As said, thank you so much for being here and for being so amazing. I love you guys so much. I will now stop the stream and then stream again because I want to play some early access that I haven't been able to play for days.
Hit level 90. Yeah. Take
I'm
it,
I'm not
enjoy it.
even 81 at this point. So yeah, I'm like, it's really bad.
Elena wants to know
Yes.
if she can ask a question real quick.
Elena,
Or,
yes, of course,
they,
darling.
I don't know if they are.
Let's wait for that question and then everybody go back to leveling, I guess.
I'm getting.
I will.
tacos
I will
after this.
also.
Oh,
I will
yum, yum,
also
yum.
be on. I will also be on. I will take like a quick 2-second break so I can go to the bathroom.
To fix
and
your
then I'm
camera.
gonna keep screaming. And fix my camera, right? Oh my goodness.
Me, mine too. I don't know what's going on. Why does it hate me so bad? And I actually have a new
Ugh.
haircut, so I was like,
I've seen you do that thing with your hands, the snapping fingers. What does that mean?
It's
an
a very
applause.
quiet applause.
This is Clock It. This comes from the Black and Brown communities in America, particularly in the Northeastern, in the ballroom culture, like Harlem ballroom culture, where it originated from. And it's a term of clocking it, meaning it's like, oh, that's genuine, that's serious, that's impressive, that's great. So I always love to incorporate that because a lot of the vernacular of that ballroom culture comes into mainstream media through like drag and the artistry and things of that nature. So I always want to pay homage to that for the people before me, because I was not in ballroom culture, but I do have friends and family who were in the ballroom culture.
By the way, before everybody leaves, Caleb the Game Doc is your favorite streamer's favorite streamer.
Stop. I'm not-
Yes.
Okay, Sasha Colby.
Well, thank you very much. I love this so much, and I'm hopeful that everybody in the chat has a good time and that you guys had a good time. And thank you so much for opening up again. So I will end the stream. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Mwah, 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 mwah.
Thank you.
Bye.